Namaskaram. Welcome back. Let's look at the second silent killers. There are many silent killers. We'll cover one by one. Now, one of the very common medical condition now that is silent and largely unnoticed is fatty liver. It is getting more common even among the adolescents, adults, and as well as the aging people. So fatty liver means deposition of fat in the liver, which means it is going to sit in between the liver cells, and that means your liver function is going to be affected. So what does liver do for you? It is the master for detoxification, detoxifies toxins, drugs, chemicals, pesticides. Most of the toxins and drugs are detoxified by the liver. If the liver function is affected, then you will become a poor detoxifier, which means you accumulate the toxins in the body and you can't even detoxify your heavy metals like mercury. Fatty liver also leads to insulin resistance, which means it increases the risk of diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and many of the chronic degenerative diseases because of insulin resistance. Now, I did mention that insulin resistance is the underlying cause for even Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, cancers, arthritis, and so on. So, fatty liver increases the risk of insulin resistance. So, it just gets into a very vicious cycle. One problem gives you another complication, and that complication leads to many other problems. So the question is, why do we get into fatty liver? But before that, there are two types. One is alcohol induced fatty liver, the other is known as non-alcohol induced fatty liver. Okay, so we'll talk about the non-alcohol induced. Why do you have this? The commonest reason is consuming excess carbohydrates. I have always said that excess carbs is dangerous. So what happens when there is excess carbohydrates? You will have excess sugar and thereby excess insulin. The insulin will convert the excess sugar into a type of cholesterol called triglycerides, and these triglycerides will get deposited in the liver, and that causes fatty liver. You can also have fatty liver due to chronic inflammation. Fatty liver leads to chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation causes more fatty liver. So it becomes again a vicious cycle. How do you diagnose this? One is by blood test. If you do a liver function test, you should look at the enzyme called ALT. Ideally, it should be below 20. This is for optimal health. I don't follow the lab reference range. Optimal health below 20. Anything above, there is likelihood of fatty liver. The other one is to do an ultrasound of the abdomen. It's non-toxic, non-invasive. Ultrasound is very safe. It's not like a radiation. So ultrasound of the abdomen will also diagnose. If this goes undiagnosed and untreated, fatty liver can lead to cirrhosis of the liver, which means your liver can get hard. So once you get into the cirrhotic phase, it is difficult to reverse. So fatty liver is a serious health problem that is seen from very young age nowadays. It is because we are consuming too much carbohydrates, carbonated drinks, sugar, and too much of fruits is also no good because the fructose will not be used as energy source by the muscles. So you can have excess fructose converted into triglycerides, and that sits in the liver. So do understand that there are silent killers among us, and we should be aware of them and we should know how to diagnose them. Thank you. Namaskar.